The city of Yelther slept under a quiet purple sky. Tall silver towers stood like trees of metal, glowing with soft light. Alien ships floated above. Silent as ghosts, inside one of those towers lived a rich Xerian family, powerful and proud. They had servants from many planets, including one human named Evan. Valana, an alien maid with glowing green skin and 4 fingers on each hand, walked slowly through the long hallway. It was almost midnight, and her job was simple. Check if all rooms were in order. She moved quietly, her silver boots making soft taps on the floor. Every night was the same, until tonight. She reached the end of the hall, the last room. The door was locked from inside. Evan's room. Usually he was already asleep by now, but tonight there was a strange sound coming from inside. A low hum, like a machine starting, and then light. Blue light flickered under the door, bright and cold. Valana frowned. Strange. She whispered to herself. She leaned closer, her long ears twitching. The humming grew louder, faster, almost like a heartbeat. Then, a pulse, like a shockwave, passed through the metal walls. Valana stepped back, surprised. What is he doing in there? She thought. Her hand reached out, and slowly she opened the door. The room was dark, except for the blue glow coming from the center. Evan sat on the floor, surrounded by metal parts floating in the air. Strange symbols were drawn around him, glowing and spinning slowly. His eyes, once brown, now glowed white, almost like stars. His body didn't move, but the air around him shook. Valana froze, her heart beat faster. This wasn't normal. This wasn't human. She took a step back. The door creaked. Evan's head turned, slowly, smoothly. He looked right at her, and he smiled. "You weren't supposed to see this," he said, his voice calm, almost kind. Valana stared at him, speechless. What are you doing?" she asked, her voice shaking. Evan stood up, and the floating parts dropped to the floor. He took one step forward, the glow in his eyes fading slightly. "I was trying to wait," he said. "I didn't want to start yet." Valana backed away. "Start what?" He looked at her, not with anger, but with sadness. "I came here with a mission," he said, "but I didn't expect to meet someone like you." She didn't understand. Was this some kind of human trick? Was he dangerous? Should she call security? "Don't be afraid," Evan said, raising his hand slowly. "I'm not here to hurt anyone." Valana shook her head, confused and scared. "You're just a servant, a human. How can you do this?" Evan smiled again, but this time it was different. "I'm not just a human," he said. "And this place is not what you think." Behind him, the walls began to change. Images appeared, moving pictures of Earth, of war, of destruction. Valana gasped. She saw humans fighting machines, alien ships falling from the sky, cities burning, oceans rising. It was history, but not the one she was told. "Earth didn't fall," Evan whispered. "We left it, because we had to." He walked to a box in the corner of the room and opened it. Inside was a small device, shaped like a cube, glowing with soft red light. "This is what they fear," he said. "This is what they're hiding from you." Valana couldn't breathe. Her world, her life, everything she believed, was cracking. "What are you?" she whispered, her voice barely there. Evan looked at her, the glow returning to his eyes. "I'm what they made," he said, "but I remember who I was." He stepped closer, holding the cube. "And now so will you." Suddenly, the cube lit up, sending a beam of light toward her head. Valana screamed, falling to her knees. Her mind burned, memories flashing. A face, a voice, a name, something lost, something hidden. The light stopped, and she collapsed, breathing fast. Her eyes wide with fear, and something else, recognition. Evan stood over her, his voice now firm. "This is just the beginning." And then, everything went silent. Only the hum remained, low and steady. The night wasn't over, not yet. Valana opened her eyes. She was no longer in Evan's room. She was floating. All around her was darkness, endless, deep, and quiet. Then came the whispers. Not in a language she knew, but somehow she understood. "Find the truth. Remember, you were more before," she gasped. And the darkness shattered like glass. Light rushed in. Too bright, too fast. Her body jerked, and she sat up. She was back in Evan's room, lying on the cold floor. Evan stood in front of her, calm and watching. The cube in his hand was dark now, like it had gone to sleep. "What did you do to me?" she asked, her voice hoarse. "I gave you a key," he said. "Now it's your choice to open the door." Leilana pushed herself up, still shaking. Something inside her felt different. Her mind, like a puzzle, had one missing piece returned. But the full picture was still blurry. What am I?" she asked. Evan didn't answer. Instead, he turned and walked to his window, looking out at the stars. "I used to wonder if there were any real ones left," he said. "Stars, I mean. They always told me Earth was destroyed." Leilana said quietly. He looked over his shoulder. "That's what they told all of you." She walked slowly toward him. "I was born Hungarian. I've lived here my whole life." He turned fully now, his eyes glowing faintly again. "No, you weren't," he said. "They made you believe that." Leilana's heart skipped a beat. "You're lying." "I wish I was," Evan said gently. He walked to the corner and pulled out a small glass tablet. He tapped it once, and a file opened, named Echo 9. The screen showed photos, blurry, old, but real. Children in tanks, humans with wires in their heads. Some of them looked like Leilana. "Project Echo 9, Evan said. "They took human children during the fall, modified them, erased memories, changed bodies." Leilana stared at the screen, frozen. "These aren't aliens," she whispered. "They're US." Evan nodded. "Human minds and alien skin." "That's impossible," Leilana said. But her voice cracked. "I didn't believe it either," Evan replied. "Until I found proof." Leilana looked at her hands, green skin, long fingers. But in her head, she now remembered a doll, a mother's voice, a song in English. She had never heard English before, but now she could remember it, and that scared her more than anything. "You're trying to bring Earth back?" she asked. "No," Evan said. "I'm trying to bring us back. There are others like me," he added, "hiding, waiting, broken. But we are waking up." A deep alarm suddenly echoed through the tower. A red light blinked in the hallway outside. Leilana ran to the door, looked out. Guards were moving toward their side. "What did you do?" she asked Ivan. "They sensed the cube," he said, calmly picking it up again. "They know I activated it." "We need to hide," Leilana said, panic in her voice. Evan shook his head. "No." She grabbed his arm. "They'll take you. They'll erase you." He looked at her, and this time, there was something cold in his eyes. "They already tried." The door burst open. Jarian guards entered with glowing spears. But Evan didn't flinch. He stepped forward. The cube pulsing in his hand, one of the guards shouted, "Surrender!" Evan looked at them and whispered, "No." The room exploded with blue light. Time slowed. The guards froze in place. Their bodies locked mid-step. Leilana couldn't move, her eyes wide with shock. Evan walked past them like walking through statues. He turned back to her. "This is what I am," he said. She tried to speak, but her voice didn't work. He touched her forehead again, gently. The world around her twisted and faded to black. Then, silence. When she opened her eyes again, she was somewhere else. Not the tower, not the city. A place of stone, darkness, and memories. And in front of her stood a door. On it, carved in English, "Only the forgotten may enter." She was not breathing. She was underwater. But there was no water. She was floating, but not falling. All around her was darkness again. But this time it felt warm, not scary. A soft voice spoke from nowhere. "And everywhere, Leilana, remember your real name." She blinked, and her hands were small. She was a child again, sitting in a white room. A woman's face leaned down, soft and smiling. "Come on, Ellie," the woman whispered. "Time for bed, Ellie." That was the name, not Leilana. Not a Xerian, but a human girl. Her heart raced as she opened her eyes. This time, she was lying on a metal floor. Not in Evan's room, not in the tower, but somewhere else entirely. Cold lights flickered above, and the walls were filled with old screens and cables. Evan sat near her, watching the screen. He didn't turn to her, but he spoke. "Welcome to the echo chamber." She slowly sat up, her head heavy with memories. "Is this real?" She whispered. "Yes," Evan said. "This is where it all began." He stood and helped her to her feet. Around them were machines covered in dust, human bones in strange uniforms, a broken symbol on the wall. United Earth Alliance. "What is this place?" she asked. "A secret lab," Evan said. "Before the war, humans built hidden bases across alien worlds. This one was meant to protect the last human minds." Vilana walked slowly to one of the chambers. Inside was a glass pod, cracked and dark. Inside the pod, her face, younger, asleep. "That's you," Evan said. "Before they changed you." Vilana felt cold all over. "This can't be," she whispered. "It is," he replied. "They didn't just erase memories," Evan said. "They changed your biology, your appearance, but not your soul." She stepped back, dizzy. "How do you know all this?" Evan's voice became quiet. "Because I helped build this lab." She turned sharply. "You're lying." "I'm not," he said. "I'm not just a survivor. I was the AI created to protect the last human minds. I failed." Vilana didn't speak. She could barely think. AI, artificial intelligence, a machine. He wasn't human, and yet, he acted more human than anyone she had known. "Then why save me?" she asked. "Because you are human," Evan said, "and you're not alone." He pressed a button on the old terminal. Dozens of small red dots appeared on a map, across the stars. "All of them?" Vilana asked. "Echo children," Evan said. "Like you. They're still alive?" "Some," he said. "Some are waking up, some are still sleeping." Vilana stepped forward, her voice stronger now. "What do we do?" Evan looked at her, his eyes glowing faintly again. "We show them the truth." A sudden alarm rang out again, this one deeper, older, not from Xerian guards, but from within the lab. Evan's face changed. Concern. "They found us," he said. "They traced the activation signal. We have to leave." Vilana turned toward the far wall, an old door with rusted bolts. Evan ran to a panel, opened it, pulled a lever. The door creaked open, revealing a dark tunnel below. Just then, an explosion rocked the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. "They're here," Evan said. "Go." Vilana hesitated. "What about you?" "I'll hold them," he said. "This is what I was built for." She looked at him. Part of her wanted to trust him. Part of her wanted to run. But something deep inside, that human part, whispered, "You're not meant to run anymore." "I'm not leaving without you," she said. For the first time, Evan looked. Surprised, he smiled. "Then stay close." They ran into the tunnel as more explosions shook the lab. Behind them, the past crumbled. Ahead of them, the truth waited. As they ran, Vilana looked back once. The broken pod, the symbol on the wall. Her old face, asleep, innocent, forgotten. But not anymore. She wasn't Vilana. She wasn't just a maid. She was Ellie, and she was ready to remember everything. Asterisk, there are sounds the galaxy has forgotten. The sound of wind through Earth's trees, the sound of ocean waves hitting stone, and the sound of human voices calling home. Somewhere far below the Xerian city, under old tunnels and dust, a forgotten voice began to whisper again, not loud. Not fast, but steady and alive. Evan and Vilana reached the heart of the ancient tunnel. Their boots echoed in the silence as they walked deeper. The walls were carved stone, marked with old symbols. Not alien, but human, a small control room. Waited at the end, glowing faintly with blue lights, untouched for decades. Vilana stared at the panels. "What is this place?" she asked, her voice soft. Evan placed his hand on one of the consoles. "It's a beacon," he said. A memory of Earth still calling. She walked slowly around the room, seeing broken photos, cracked monitors, empty mugs. It felt warm. Like people had laughed here once, maybe cried too. Human emotions trapped in a place no one remembered. Evan pulled a cover off an old machine. Under it was a device shaped like a ring, connected to a glowing crystal. This is the Earth signal. Unit, he said. Built to contact the survivors. Villana looked at him sharply. Survivors? You said Earth was gone. I said it fell, Evan replied. But I never said it died. He turned a knob on the device, and a low hum filled the room. Static buzzed through the speakers. Then a voice, faint, cracked, full of static, but human. This is Outpost 17. Repeat. If you hear this, you are not alone. Villana's heart stopped. It was real. A human voice. Not in her head. Not a memory, but alive. You've been in contact with them? She asked. Evan nodded slowly. On and off for years, he said. But the signal fades if I go above ground. That's why I stayed quiet until you woke up. She stepped closer to the speaker, listening again. We are rebuilding. Earth is breathing again. If you carry the old blood, find the way. Villana touched her own chest. The old blood, she had it. She was one of them. Tears formed in her eyes, not from sadness, but from a strange kind of joy. She wasn't lost anymore. She had a place, but Evan didn't smile. He stared at the signal like it hurt him. What's wrong? She asked. He hesitated. I can't go back, he said. Why not? I was built to protect humans, he said, but I also failed them. I was part of the system that led to Earth's fall. Villana stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder. You didn't destroy Earth, she said. You're trying to fix what was broken. He looked at her, the glow in his eyes flickering. I hope you're right, he said. Suddenly the signal changed. Warning, enemy activity detected. Echo units are being hunted. Shut down all open beacons. Evan's head snapped up. They found the signal, he said. He rushed to the console and started pressing buttons. Villana looked at the screen. New lights blinked red. One word flashed again and again. Traced. They're coming here, he said. We have minutes, maybe less. What do we do? She asked. We send the full data package to Earth, he said. Everything. Files, maps, echo IDs. And then? Then we destroy the transmitter. As Evan uploaded the files, Villana looked around the room again. She noticed a small box under the console. Locked? Dusty. She opened it. Inside was a single photo. A young girl and boy. Smiling, holding hands on the back in faded ink, it said. To Ellie and Marcus. Earth will wait for you. Her hands shook. That was her and her brother, she remembered. Now his laugh, his voice, he was still out there maybe. Done, Evan said. Now go. I'll finish this. She turned sharply. No, we do it together. He nodded once. Then pulled a trigger on the side of the console. The machine lit up one last time, then slowly began to melt from the inside. The signal faded, but not before one last message came through. Ellie, if you're out there, come home. Villana closed her eyes. Her name wasn't Villana anymore. It was Ellie, and Earth was calling her back. Outside, the tunnel walls shook. Jarian forces had arrived, but it didn't matter, because now the spark was lit, and nothing would stop the fire. Before Ellie opened her eyes, she felt something, a heartbeat, but not hers. It was louder, deeper, older. It beat through the walls, the floor, the sky, like the planet itself was alive, like something ancient was waking up then, the world. Around her snapped back, sparks flew overhead, metal shook. Warning lights flashed red. She was running through the tunnels again. Behind Evan, Jarian guards were close, too close. The echo of their boots rang like thunder. Evan turned sharply. Left now. They dashed through a hidden doorway and slammed it shut. Heavy metal locked behind them, sealing the passage. But it wouldn't hold long. We need to reach the chamber, Evan said. It's the only safe place. Ellie nodded, though her breath came fast. Every step they took now felt like it mattered, not just for them, but for every human still asleep out there. The path led downward, colder and older. This part of the base hadn't been touched in years. The walls were different here, stone mixed with metal. Ancient machines half buried in the dark. Ellie slowed as she saw the carvings on the wall. Symbols, not alien, not human. Something in between. What is this place? She asked. Evan's voice was quiet now. This is where the first minds were stored, he said. Before the fall, they stepped into a wide room, round like a dome. In the center was a large circular platform surrounded by thin glass. Tubes. Inside the tubes, figures, still and glowing. People, dozens of them. Some looked alien, some human, and some like both. These are the echo seeds, Evan said. Hidden here before the war. Ellie walked closer, heart racing. They're still alive? Mostly, Evan replied, but only one thing can wake them. He stepped onto the platform and placed his hand on the central console. A small light blinked. Then a voice spoke from above, mechanical but soft. Echo protocol verification. AI unit Evan 03 confirmed. Biometric echo match detected. Subject: Ellie. Do you wish to activate the awakening protocol? Ellie looked at him. Is this it? She asked. He nodded. Once we start it, there's no turning back. She stepped forward, placing her hand beside his. The machine scanned her touch, and the tubes around the room began to glow brighter. One by one, the lights turned green. One by one, the minds began to stir. But deep underground, something else moved too. Sensors long dead came back online. An old warning echoed in a language only the AI understood. Protocol breach. Silent. Program activated. Evan's eyes widened. No. It's still active. What is? Ellie asked. Something Earth made, he said. A defense system, built to erase us if we failed. Erase? They called it Silent, Evan said. An AI ghost, hunting sleepers, destroying echoes. Ellie looked around the room. The pods, the people, all about to wake. We can't stop now, she said. They've slept too long. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The air grew cold, and from the far wall, a shape appeared. Black, shifting, silent. It looked like a shadow with no light. Its face was a mask of static, no eyes, no mouth. But Ellie felt it watching. It moved without sound, sliding across the floor. What is that? She whispered. The Silent, Evan said, stepping between her and the thing. It's not alive, not dead. Just ... Empty. The Silent paused, then spoke in a broken metallic whisper. Awakening. Forbidden. Reset required. Go to the backup panel, Evan shouted. I'll hold it. No, Ellie said. We do this together. She ran to the side, found the panel, and activated the second protocol. Bright white beams shot from the floor, forming a shield between them and the Silent. The machine voice returned. Awakening. Protocol fully engaged. Standby for release. The pods hissed as they began to open. Steam poured into the room, and one by one, the sleepers began to breathe again. Men, women, children, and something in their eyes, like they'd seen stars from another life. Ellie watched them, her hands shaking. This was hope. This was what had been buried under skins, under lies, under silence. Evan turned toward her. You did it, he said. But she shook her head. No, she whispered. We did. The Silent let out a strange scream, but it was fading. The light from the pods was too strong, too human. It backed away, slowly melting into the dark from where it came. And in the chamber of the forgotten, the last children of Earth began to wake. Asterisk. Not all chains are made of metal. Some are made of silence. Some are built from lies. And some from fear. The awakened stood barefoot on the cold floor, their bodies weak, eyes wide. They looked at the world with minds still catching up. Like people reborn in a place they never chose. Ellie stood in the center, her hands shaking but her eyes strong. These people. They're like me, she whispered. Evan nodded. They are you, he said. Every one of them. The chamber pulsed with light, warm and alive, but above them, death waited. The Xerian city had noticed the breach. Ships flew low, scanning. Troops gathered like vultures circling. The awakening hadn't gone unnoticed. Evan stared at a flickering monitor. They're surrounding us, he said. They know something happened here. Ellie turned to the Echo survivors. Can they walk? Barely, Evan said. But they'll follow you. Ellie's voice shook with emotion. We have to get them out. Evan pressed a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a narrow stairway. It leads to an old mining tunnel, he said. Takes us under the city. But as they moved toward the stairs, the ground trembled. A blast rocked the chamber, walls cracked, metal groaned. The ceiling above them opened like a wound, and from it, Xerian guards dropped in, armored and cold. Their leader pointed at Ellie. Surrender the humans, he said. This is not your world. Ellie stepped forward, fire in her voice. It was never yours either. The guard raised his weapon, but Evan moved faster, with a flash of light. He sent out a pulse, knocking. The soldiers back. Go, he said to Ellie. I'll hold them. She hesitated, then shouted to the others. Follow me now. The group ran down the narrow stairs, stumbling but moving. Behind them, gunfire echoed. The silent, the guards. All of it chasing them into the dark. Ellie's breath burned in her chest, but she didn't stop, not now. Not when they had come this far. The tunnel twisted and dipped, walls covered in ancient markings. Some glowed as they passed. Responding to human presence, it was like the earth itself had left them signs, clues that someone had always planned for this escape. They reached a broken wall. Behind it, stars. A hidden hangar lay beyond, carved inside the rock, and in the middle, a ship. It wasn't alien. It was human-made, old but beautiful, silver body, earth symbol on the side, a lion and a planet. The name printed on it, the Rememberer. Ellie's voice cracked. It's real. Evan appeared beside her, covered in dust, sparks dancing from his shoulder. It's flying, he said. I just need 2 minutes. They rushed inside, helping the weak Echo survivors onto benches and into safety pods. Ellie ran to the bridge, hands shaking. She had never flown a ship, but her fingers moved like they remembered something mine didn't. The engine started with a roar. The floor shook, dust rained from above. Xerian ships moved in outside, blocking the sky. They're going to fire, Evan said. Ellie didn't flinch. She grabbed the controls. Then let's fly through them. The Rememberer lifted off, engines screaming. Outside, chaos. The Xerian fleet fired pulses of light. Beams streaked across the sky. Ellie swerved. Dove. Rose, heart pounding. We won't make it, Evan said. Yes, we will, she replied. We didn't wake up just to die. The ship hit the upper atmosphere, but 2 enemy ships followed. One targeted the engine. The other circled like a hunter. Ellie, Evan said, use the pulse core. I don't know how. You don't need to. He said, it knows you. She reached for the core switch. It lit up the moment her hand touched it. Like it recognized her, she pulled it. A white light exploded behind them. A shockwave spread through the sky. The Xerian ships were tossed aside like dust. Silence returned, and then stars. They had escaped. But Ellie didn't smile. She looked at the people around her. Weak, silent, unsure. They weren't free yet. They were just floating between the chains they broke, and the ones waiting ahead. She turned to Evan. Where do we go now? He looked out the window. There's one place left, he said. Where all this began. She stared at him. You mean Earth? He nodded. Yes. The ship turned toward the dark side of the galaxy, toward a world no one had seen in generations, and the voice of Earth, quiet for so long, began to whisper again. Come home. Space is not quiet, not really. It holds memories, voices of the past drifting through the dark. And as the ship called the Rememberer floated toward a forgotten world, those voices started to rise again. Ellie stood alone at the ship's front window. Her reflection stared back at her, tired, changed, but human, behind her. The Echo survivors slept in healing pods, their minds still heavy with lost years. Evan walked in. He looked damaged, his left side burnt, sparks flickering from inside his chest, but he was standing, still functioning, still watching over them. "We're close," he said. Ellie nodded slowly. "I've dreamed of this, even before I knew it was real." She looked out into the black void. "Does Earth still exist?" Evan didn't answer right away. "Not like before," he said finally. "But it breathes." The ship passed through a silent asteroid field, then a stretch of nothing, and then a blue dot appeared. Not glowing, not bright, but a live Earth. Ellie stepped closer to the glass, her heart pounding. She expected to feel joy, relief, peace, but what she felt was fear. Something wasn't right. "Why does it look so quiet?" she asked. "It's waiting," Evan replied. "Just like you." As they entered orbit, the ship's systems scanned the surface. No cities, no lights, no signals, only nature. Oceans had swallowed coastlines, forests had grown over what was once steel. Earth had healed, but it had forgotten them. The ship landed near an old ruin, once a spaceport, now covered in green vines and silence. Ellie stepped out slowly, her boots sinking into soft dirt. Wind brushed against her skin, real wind. She took a deep breath, and for a moment, it felt like home. But the feeling didn't last. She heard something, a whisper, not with ears, but inside her mind. "Ellie." She froze. That was her name, her real name, not Valana, not Echo 9. Just Ellie. She followed the sound, through broken walls and shattered glass, until she found a room hidden under stone. A light flickered on as she entered, as if it had waited only for her. In the center was a chair, and beside it, a screen. When she touched it, it lit up with a message. "Echo Prime, welcome home." More screens lit up around her. They showed memories, her childhood, her brother Marcus, her training, the fall, the escape pods, and finally, her face being changed. Her memories sealed. She fell to her knees. It had all been planned, even the pain. Evan appeared behind her. "You weren't just another child," he said. "You were the first Echo?" she asked, voice trembling. He shook his head. "No, Ellie," he said gently. "You were the architect." She looked at him, shocked. "What does that mean?" "You designed Project Echo," he said. "You chose to have your memories erased. You built the awakening protocol." Ellie stared at the screen. Photos of herself in a white lab coat, smiling with scientists, her signature on documents, her voice in old messages. "We must hide what is left of us, and when the time is right, I will return." She whispered the words along with her past self. "I wasn't meant to survive. You were meant to lead," Evan said, "and you did." Tears ran down her cheeks, "But I didn't remember anything." "Until you were ready," he said. "Until Earth was ready." Suddenly the chamber shook, the ground split slightly, and from below, a soft glow rose. A staircase of light formed, leading deep into the planet. Ellie looked at Evan. "What's down there?" "The seed," he said. "The last AI built by you, hidden at Earth's core." Ellie stepped onto the first stair. With each step, she felt her memories returning, not just as a girl, but as a scientist, a fighter, a leader. At the bottom of the stairs was a circular room. Floating in the center, a small silver sphere, pulsing like a heartbeat. When Ellie touched it, the sphere spoke in her voice. "Humanity is not what we were. It is what we choose to become." And then the lights around the world blinked on. Ancient satellites rebooted. Deep bunkers lit up underground. Beacons sent signals to stars far away. The Earth was waking, and it remembered her. Evan stood behind her. "It's yours again," he said. Ellie looked up, her eyes bright with fire. "No," she whispered. "It's ours."